Okay, hi everyone. I'm going to start with the date and let me take this headphones off. I hope you guys can hear me. Hopefully it's not connected. But today is Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. And man, yesterday I did put up about obedience, and it's something when you know when you speak out your truth, when you really come to, man, God, I was wrong. I know I did something wrong, but Lord, I need you to help me get this better, get it right for you, get it where I don't want it to be me. I want it to be you. And he doesn't cast you away. He doesn't like say, okay, you can't get it right. Every time I try to get you to get right, you can't. I thank him for just being a continual father, that he doesn't hold a grudge, that he doesn't like belittle us, that he doesn't like cast us away. And also, it had me go into, man, God, it was a learning process because we are works of art, right? We're always like going to be worked on. We're always going to be where God is like going to do his will in us. And that's what we got to make sure we're praying. And when we speak with him, listen. But when we speak to him, I'm knowing that I have to say, God, show me what you want. Show me your will. Show me and guide me in what you need me to do. Because I would say it, hurry up and get up and move and do, when you got to sit still and you have to really wait for him to respond. And more importantly, you got to open up your ears to listen. And I'm knowing that now. Just when I thought, like, okay, I got it down pat, God spoke to me in a totally different way that I'm not used to how we would communicate. And that was my fault because I boxed him into only speaking to me a certain way. He comes any way he wants. When he wants to get our attention, he's going to come to get our attention how he see fit, not how we like, oh, you didn't speak to me this way, I didn't hear it in my left ear, my right ear, any of it. No, when he wants to get our attention, he's going to come how he wants. We have to pay attention. So I woke up this morning really grateful that it just felt good sometimes, as you're a child and you did something wrong and your parent know you did it, and they just wait for you to come and tell them, and then you apologize to them, and it's like, okay, dear child, you did something, all right, this is what we're going to do now. And like just love and embrace you, and let you know, okay, come on out, you're going to go on, come on, we're going to still keep you where you are, and keep you going forth and going on. Like, we got to have it not be in our heads where it's like, okay, oh, I got to go all the way back to the beginning line. No, you don't. You don't. God will see fit because he knows well before we even did it that this was going to happen, but he needs us to acknowledge our wrongs. I've been learning through this whole process to acknowledge my wrongs. And when I tell you it is a relief in it, it's something. You have to go to God because God can remove and turn your pain into peace. God can turn your pain into peace. So we have to like come to him and just leave it with him, and know that, like, look, I made a mistake. I apologize, Lord, but I need you to show me your will. And my whole thing was, Okay, so I don't want to say it because it's no way. You cannot justify a wrong. You cannot justify a wrong. A sin is a sin is a sin is a sin. There's no, justifying it. And there's like, it's like the two in the same. Secrets are sins. Depending on what they are. But like, yeah. This was something that I had to not only voice out to him and apologize. I had to go to some of my accountability sharpeners, my sharpeners who like, look, okay, what are we going to do? These women did not like look at me funny. These women didn't speak, well, you should have did it like this and then it was like just an open heart thing of, okay, all right, so you need to love yourself through this process. You need to set boundaries, and you need to see, that you're going to come out of this. So I know for myself, I have to see what are triggers, because it's like for, things can have you in addict phase for a while, and it's not all just when it comes to drugs and alcohol. I've said it before, addictions can be a lot. It can be relationships, because you so in mine was that you used to being in a relationship. It's like the enemy I know is better than the enemy that I don't know. Having to go through like that same kind of torture. At least I know this enemy. I know what he'll do. But it's like, don't you think you're worthy more of that? I had to sit not only with God, I had to sit with myself and with God to talk and hear myself vocal things out. This is when God transforms you and changes you. It comes where you stop thinking that it's going to be this, and I never go back into any of these things. No, you have to go through some dealing. So when I sat with myself, I had to really look at myself and tell myself, you're worthy. You're worth more than this. Why are you allowing someone to pick from your fruit with rotten hands? And that was something for me. That was something. When I tell you, I have to write a lot of these things down. I do not. It's hard getting divorced. It really is. But is it going to be where you're going to be at peace? Yes. Is it where you're going to learn a value of who you are? Yes. Is it where your children will be totally different? Because us as women, and yes, it is some men on here. I love you. Big ups to you. I do appreciate you. I really do. But for women, when you have girls, daughters, you have to know that they mimic you in a lot of ways. And they can also mimic you in a way of, I'm not going to be like my mother, so I'm not going to do this. And it will turn them hard and cruel towards being into a relationship with someone that they can actually be the 200%, because I don't believe you do 50 and 50 and you make 100. No, you got to come into a relationship already whole, complete, and happy, so that when God places you with that same happy, whole person and for y'all to go out and do his work, neither one of y'all will be feeling like you're carrying and pulling the other. Will it be times in a relationship, and especially in a marriage, where one may be up and one may be down, but it's like this. It's the wheel that goes like this. But you notice that you're still going. and you're thriving and you're moving together, and before you know it, you're turning full circle because it's all what God is doing, and he really has the will, and he's moving you both. So I have to be mindful of that, and not only for my girls. Now here's where it's for, I don't want my children to be like, I don't want to marry because I don't want divorce. That's not for me. Or it's like the proving of, I'm not going to have what my parents had. Did me and my husband at one point have a really great relationship? Yes. Do we have one now? No. But we're still in this process, is learning a new friendship for us, because boundaries have to be into place for us. And sometimes them boundaries for me broke. But I'm so grateful that I see it now and have to move forward in it, because I have to have it where I gotta realize I didn't came a lot and came a long way for me to go back into an area of weakness. I have to be mindful of what are triggers, because it's like the addiction. What can trigger you into going back? And since you know all of these, you have to surround yourself with people. I say it and I know it. The best way to come up out of an addiction is to get help from somebody who's went through it. So that's why I have women who's actually been through divorce, who know how to help me through. Because none of the women I talk to are bitter or hard or any of that. And I thank goodness, because when this first happened to me, I was mean. I was not mean, but I resented that it was happening. I was hurt. So I was bitter with it, and I was mad with it. But then after a while, it just turned into a blessing. It turned into like really great in goodness. Like my divorce doesn't define me. It's discovering who I am. It's discovering me sitting here now and saying the truth and spitting out what I know is true, and not trying to sit here and compromise my growth by wanting to be comfortable in something that is going to destroy and destruct me. I'd rather go through the breaking it all down and crushing it down so that my foundation still stay there, and then I can rebuild up. So I have to make sure that I teach well to my girls, to value themselves, to be respectful and honorable, and know who you are. Don't feel like you got to place your value depending upon a spouse or family, or even me as their mother. Your value comes from who you are, your relationship of who you are with yourself. You got to have a relationship with yourself, and a relationship you have, more importantly, with Christ, because he will reveal who you are. He will. He's going to reveal who he is to you and start breaking things off of you so you can see yourself, so you know exactly what to do. This right here showed me exactly what I needed to do. And I'm praying that it's just like this. I had to treat it like an addiction, one day at a time, one moment at a time. Don't beat yourself up. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What's your next step? Can you commit to 1 hour of this? And for my son, who lives in a home, because I have 2 boys. My oldest son doesn't live at home. And I hope and pray that neither one of them don't want to like run from being married, because they may fall short. So it's very where this had to open my eyes as a mother for both sides. Because as much as I'm a woman and I want to advocate for women and everything, that had to pump your brakes. Let's sit that down for right now. Be a mother. Be a mother. What do you have to do? You have to make sure that your children are getting to be whole, to being whole. That God is going to merge them back together for Him. And He's going to build both their relationships better with themselves, with Him, with each other as siblings, their relationships with us as their parents. Do I ever want them to like not have a good relationship with their father? No, I want them to have the best relationship with their father. People make faults, they make mistakes in life. I just made one. Should I not be forgiven for it? Yes, I have to be forgiven for it. So I have to forgive him, and they have to forgive them. Everybody's going to do it on their own time. It took a while for me to get here. It took a while for me to get here. But we got to remember, forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for us, so we can move on, so we can grow. It was uncomfortable, but it was honest. And I feel so grateful that I was able to do it with an open heart and like let it be. Who do you need to forgive? And a lot of the times, I know for me, I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself and forgive my ex. Well, he's still legally my husband. Forgive my husband. And I even had to forgive the people who are like working. It's crazy working with him, and even the young ladies. Because you can't. So it's not just me. I can't, but you can't live in hurt and everything. You're going to be like, at first it was hard for me. Like, you want me to pray for them? You want me? It was weird. It was weird. But you got to do it. You got to do it. And leave it alone as that. But I was honest. Do you really want me to do this, or am I putting this in my head that this should be done? And I had to do it. And after a while, it doesn't even hurt to pray for them, because God is love. That's His main thing. He is love. He tells us to love our neighbors. We have to love our enemies. We have to love people who have hurt us. It's going to be hard at first. But like I said, He will turn that pain into peace. It'll start coming and flowing out of your mouth, and before you even know it, it shouldn't bother you no more. You let it go. You gave it to Him. He didn't told you to do it. You're praying for them, and before you know it, you're going to look back up like, wow, I grew in an area of release. I released hate. I released anger. I released bitterness. And God, you didn't overflow peace into my life. You didn't overflow joy into my life. You are overflowing happiness into my life. You are overflowing just a quiet, content purpose into my life. You are feeding me you. You are watering my seeds. You are watering the seeds that you have been planting. So you got to go through these hard situations and hard times right now, because each of them is a growing thing where God is saying, I can use you now. You're not just only doing it because you want me. You're doing it for me because I need it to transpire for someone else. So once we remove ourselves out of it and place Him all in it, I promise you it gets better. Mistakes do happen. But I thank God that He's a forgiving Father, and He loves us right through it, and He shows us exactly what needs to be done now. Listen to Him and do it. Because one thing we can do, we can ask some questions and we can be honest with Him to say, because He knows what's already in our heart. He knows what we're thinking. So be honest with Him. To just be like, I don't even know if I'm supposed to do this. I don't even really want to do it. And I know for myself, when I don't want to do it, I end up doing it. And it really works out where it's like, God, this has to be you. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to walk by what you tell me to do. Walk in the know. And it's right now, I know you telling me to do this, so I'm going to do it. Did I like it at first? Do I like it sometimes even now? Yeah, now I've grown through a lot. Thank you, God. I've grown through a lot that now it's not hard for me. At first, it was very hard for me. Do I have moments where it's like new information comes up? Yeah, but that's why you can't react off of the emotion right away, fast foodness of it, because they are like empty calories, and some of the times it comes just so people can get a reaction out of you. You can't. Let it go. Don't react. Be proactive in every situation of your life. Sit with God. Don't go off of the right away, because He'll help you through it all. So I love you guys. I thank you so much. I thank you for you being who you are in this whole journey and going through the journey of your life and dealing with what needs to be dealt with. So I thank you so much. You guys have a great, wonderful evening. I'll be back on tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And more importantly, thank you for just you being who you are. And thank yourself for just wanting to just step into your newness. Step into who God has you to be. Bye now.